welcome back to another video. Today I've got a little cotton zip bag that I wanted to print on. So I thought that I would chat about fabric printing and printing ink. It's something that I've been meaning to do for a little while. Recently I've been absolutely loving the SD block printing fabric inks. I bought these a couple of years ago now because I was looking to try something different from the Speedball inks. I love the Speedball block printing fabric ink and I've used it for years and it gives a really good print, but the ink is very thick, which isn't always ideal. When I was trying to decide which one to use this time, I wanted to compare the two before I decided which one I was going to use for my print. The SD ink is really pigmented, but it's really nice and thin, which makes it nice to mix, but it can be very slippery to roll out and roll onto the stamp rubber or the lino, and it's also not super good for a really thick textured fabric. The Speedball ink is really thick, which is good for textured fabrics, and it also is really pigmented as well. But I do find that because it is so thick, sometimes the print looks very thick and it kind of sits on top of the fabric instead of sinking in. But if that's the look that you want, then this is perfect for that. I decided to use the SD inks because I wanted a slightly lighter print and the fabric that I'm using is not super textured. I wanted a really bright pink, so I mixed red, white and a tiny bit of yellow. I find that adding the yellow really brightens up the colour and gives it a little bit more depth. At first the ink was super slippery and difficult to roll out, but after a while of working it, it turned more tacky, which is how I prefer ink to be for fabric printing. I also like to add a really thick layer onto the stamp rubber because I find that it helps to print better on the fabric. The ink can be quite sticky and sometimes can stick to the stamp rubber instead of transferring onto the fabric, so that's why I like to use a really thick layer. I'm using my Japanese hard rubber roller and the stamp is Speedball Speedy Carve. I really like Speedy Carve for printing on fabric. I think that it works so much better than any other stamp rubbers I've used. I also use a Baron to apply pressure. I find this gives the best print when using stamp rubber, and it's the best way to give an even amount of pressure over the whole of the stamp. My dad made this Baron, but I know that Speedball do one if you are looking to buy one. I'm really happy with how the print turned out. It does look slightly patchy, which is definitely worse on camera, but the nature of hand printing is that things aren't always perfect, which I absolutely love. I also printed some notebooks using the VersaCraft ink pad. These are also one of my favourites for fabric printing. I actually love these inks for printing stamps in general, and they always give such a clean and even print.